For the last 3 years on this channel, I have been researching and putting a spotlight on the overall elite agenda to push a CBDC digital ID based system that would ultimately have complete control over your day-to-day financial well-being. And in this video, I want to break down how all of this has been planned for decades, utilizing research from not only David Icke, but also from myself. So with that being said, welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. Let's take a quick look at this video that David Icke posted. This was 25 years ago in 1998. How could I have known this? Because this is a long-planned agenda. Nothing happening today is happening by chance. And with no intervention, it will continue to progress. Time to make a stand. Enough is enough. The lion sleeps no more. Now, this is well over 26 years ago now, but this got posted back in 2023 by David himself. But listen closely to this. This is how long this overall plan has been in place for.
Across the millennium years is crunch time in this whole agenda, crunch time for the human race. This is the time when this network of interbreeding bloodlines wants to bring in its global fascist structure of a world government to which nation states would be administrative units, of a world central bank and a world currency, a currency that wouldn't be cash, it would be merely electronic, for which there are fundamental implications for human freedom. And also the world army, which is designed to be NATO, expanding and expanding as it is now, of course, to become the fully fledged world army, world police force. And underpinning that little lot is designed to be a microchip population, in which we are microchipped with our financial details, our medical details, etc., etc. And that would allow not only electronic tagging, people knowing where we are all the time, it would allow the external manipulation through this electronic means of our mental and emotional processes. This will happen unless the human race wakes up and wakes up fast. And to do that, we need to understand what's really going on. And to let people know that, we've got to stop beating about the bush, stop pulling punches, stop pussyfooting around, keeping information from people, oh my goodness, how will they react, and just say, this is going on, take it or leave it, make of it what you will, but this is what's going on.
And this is something that I have been openly talking about on this channel because, listen, it all starts with one thing, which is digital ID. They want to push the digital ID narrative, which will bleed into everything. We're talking about healthcare, financial services, food and sustainability. Everything that you can think of is all tied back to the digital ID. Now, also, he does talk about microchipping. This is happening as well, and it's pushed by someone that everyone loves, Elon Musk, right? Now, a lot of these things that we are witnessing in real time are pushed under the disguise of how great it's going to be for society. For example, Neuralink, pushed by Elon Musk, is pushed as a major breakthrough to, solve a lot of issues. We're talking about, spine issues, things like that. But think about this logically, right? We are implementing chips into human brains with AI tied to it. These things that are happening right now are all leading us down a path to the same agenda that's been ongoing for decades now. Now, also over here, we have the CBDC map. Now, I have outlined how fast this map has changed in time. We're in October of 2024. I just want to show you guys October of 2023 and how things have changed in just 1 year. But what about in 2 years, right? Let's go back to October of 2022. This was the map back in 2022. You can see how quick things are changing. Let's go all the way back to 2020, right? Let's go back to October of 2020. This is what the October 2020 map looked like. In 4 years, this is what the map looks like now. Again, you can clearly see how fast things are changing. And you can even see the timeline here as well. They have all of this outlined on how things have changed. And it's kind of crazy that, you know, a lot of the population is in the dark about this. They don't realize that this is actually ongoing. They don't realize it. They're being distracted by, you know, politics or by, you know, oh, look at it's, you know, mainstream media this, mainstream media that, celebrities this. There is so many distractions away from the truth right now that it's alarming. It's completely alarming. Now, also on top of this, right, we have the vast majority of the population have absolutely no idea about the move towards central bank digital currencies, and therefore have absolutely no understanding about the potential repercussions of this ignorance is not bliss, it's dangerous. And yes, where central banks have issued digital currencies. And you can see the map, right? We just talked about this one over here from, this is CBDC Tracker. This is from Atlantic Council, I believe. And, you know, it's funny that this is ongoing. You try to talk to people about this and they just don't see it happening. They're like, oh, well, people won't accept it. That's the thing, though. They're not going to care about you accepting it or not. They're going to incentivize people to accept it. And then they're also going to force people to accept it. And you might say, how? Well, where are you going to use cash? Right now, if you actually go and look at cashless, just search up cashless on Google. All right, you have these event centers going cashless, you have zoos going cashless. This is going to continue to fall down the list. You're going to start to see banks going cashless. You're going to start to see, you know, grocery stores going cashless. This is also why I say you need to be self-sustainable. Now, also over in China, this is ongoing right now with digital IDs. If you don't have a digital ID, you don't get food. This will come to the EU and US. This just got posted on the 24th, by the way. And this is actually from a TikTok creator. Again, check this out.
So the latest in this dystopian outrage that is now all of China, apparently, is I once again cannot buy food. A couple days ago, my uncle and my cousin helped me get a cell phone that is linked to a Chinese bank card so that I could buy anything. But now, apparently, it has been flagged for some reason, and I have to pass facial recognition identity verification, which is insane, because all I want to do is just spend my gift card balance on this debit card. I can't believe I'm doing this. I have to open my mouth. Oh my god. Terrifying. Oh. And of course, because it was my cousin who set this up for me, I did not pass verification. I guess it's a good thing that the Chinese app is not racist. But now, I once again can't buy anything.
And this is ongoing around the world. There's a lot of areas like this, and it's only going to continue and continue and continue. And you know what's crazy? Even now, we are starting to see a lot of the politicians, you know, saying, oh, we're going to, you know, ban a CBDC. We're not going to push a CBDC. In fact, Trump was one of the big ones that were pushing the whole CBDC ban. Okay. This is the problem. Yeah, CBDC, the term CBDC is banned. A lot of people don't know the difference between a CBDC and or a stablecoin. They actually don't know that a CBDC technically is just a stablecoin. The US will push a stablecoin. We will have a digital dollar. Why? Because every other nation is pushing it, but also so is Russia. Once Russia goes live with their CBDC, which is planned by the end of 2025, the game is officially on. And the game is, we need to make sure everyone goes digital So they are going to push a reset of the financial system. We're already starting to see the debt crisis hitting big. This is only going to continue to get worse. They're trying to wipe out financial well-being of basically everyone by not only, inflation, but also making sure that everything is becoming unaffordable. Housing, rent, groceries, everything is becoming unaffordable. Wages are not going up. They want this to happen. They want people to be living on credit and on debt because guess what? The best way to incentivize a CBDC is by wiping debt. But here we have from David Icke saying, no, Mr. Rogan, both sides are taking you to the same end by a different route and different rhetoric. I call it designer manipulation. Different mentalities and beliefs require different Pied Pipers. And yes, this is exactly what's happening because even Joe Rogan is now saying that the rebels are Republicans now. You want to be punk rock? You want to be the bucket? You want to buck the system? Sorry, you are conservative now. The liberals are now pro-silencing criticism. They are pro-censorship. They talk about regulating free speech. But the problem here isn't so much about political parties. It's not red or blue. There is someone controlling all of this. It's a much bigger play that you are not really seeing unless you actually do the research. There's organizations out there that control what's going on. If you know their face, if you know their name, they are not the ones in control. And by the way, the real plan of action here, David Icke predicted this back in 1996. And you might say there's no way that this is going on. There's no way that this is happening. But I'm going to talk to you guys about why this is actually happening and why David Icke was 100% on target back in 1996. Listen closely to this. This is crazy.
We are looking at a gigantic con trick before our eyes. We don't live in a democracy in this country or in America or in these other places. We live in a one-party state where the same force from the peak of the pyramid string pulls all sides. The creation of a one-world government to which nation-states would be principalities, administrative units, a world central bank which would administer all financial transactions on the planet, a world currency which wouldn't be coins and notes, it would be merely electronic, cashless society for which there are fundamental implications for freedom, as we'll see as we go along tonight. A world army under centralized control with nation-state armies dismantled under the justification of seeking peace, and a microchipped population linked to a global computer, the latter of which sounds bizarre to many people on first hearing, except that we are ridiculously close to it and the technology already exists. So World Health Organization says there's going to be a measles epidemic next year. Get vaccinated. Get your children vaccinated. You're a bad parent if you don't. And the same people that organise that, they start wanting out the vaccine and make a fortune out of it. So if we take one element of that under problem reaction solution, it's amazing the extent to which we have given our power away, our spiritual power. It's all about taking our power back. Because once we do that, it's all over.
So this was back in 1996, and what's going on right now is the BRICS are accelerating a multipolar push against the US dollar. But what a lot of people don't realize is that the BRICS are pushing the same exact narrative. They're pushing the agenda, they're accelerating the agenda, and it's all by plan. The best way to confirm this is by going all the way back to March of 2022, the day that we announced sanctions. 24 hours later, we got Executive Order 14067 that announced that the US was exploring a CBDC and digital currency system. And from that point on, guess what we saw from Russia and from China and from all the BRICS nations? We saw them pushing against the dollar, de-dollarization efforts, abandoning, the SWIFT system. All of a sudden, they're looking into digital currencies. And even now, today, more than ever, we are seeing Russia pushing forward on digital currencies, their CBDC. They updated their rollout on October 2nd, and this was actually confirmed that they are on track for mass rollout by July of 2025. All of this has been planned. All of what we are seeing around these big events is problem reaction solution. They want everyone to look at Russia as the bad guy. They want us to look at Russia and say, all right, how is the US going to counter this? What is the US going to do? Well, all of a sudden, now that Russia has their CBDC, well, the US has to push a stablecoin. And the US is going to look like the good guy because everyone knows how bad a CBDC is, because the narrative out there has been, the CBDC is going to control everything, blah, 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 this, that, whatever. All of a sudden, the US is saying, we're going to have a digital dollar. It's going to be a stable coin. Everyone's celebrating it because it's not a CBDC, right? Even though a stable coin is still programmable, it's still controllable, and it's still trackable and traceable. So as we really think about what's going on right now, everyone is completely missing the target here. And even as we look at what's going on around a lot of these BRICS nations, right, we are starting to see crypto banned, right? Here we have the Indian government is planning to ban crypto and stablecoin. This is not the only time that we've seen this, by the way, in history. But it's to push a CBDC. And it's because the CBDC is not being adopted. So they want to get rid of every other currency to push the CBDC, which is why they will get rid of cash as well. They want to get rid of cash. And they will utilize events to push their overall ideas and back their ideas. It's kind of like the pandemic, right? You go back to 2020 with the lockdowns. All right, nobody's using cash because they're sitting at home. How are you going to use cash if you're sitting at home? So now all of a sudden, everyone's buying things off of Amazon. Digital, payments are going crazy and transactions are going crazy. All of a sudden, we're seeing all these reports from the World Economic Forum, the IMF, the World Bank. Oh, look at cash usage is dropping significantly. They utilize these events as a problem reaction solution. Everything that we are witnessing in real time, these big events, geopolitical tensions, all of this is to push the same thing. So as we look at politics, both sides are still pushing us towards the same destination. And by the way, it's not just the BRICS nations, by the way. It's also areas like Australia. This was May 11th of this year. Australia's biggest banks ban cash, forces customers to adopt CBDCs or lose everything. This is exactly what's going to go on. They're going to start to push the CBDC narrative so heavily, and they're going to make it seem as though it's so terrifying. This is why you cannot trust banks. I never trust banks. Physical gold, silver, investing in the right digital currencies as well. I mean, you have to hedge your bets. You have to make sure that you are diversified every step of the way. But what we are witnessing is such a significant change. And even as we do look at Russia, right? They just announced new laws and rules that are paving the way for their CBDC. And, even now, as we look at what's going on around the world, we are starting to see regulations pushed heavily by a lot of nations. They are going to crack down on crypto so heavy, and it's all going to be to support CBDCs and push and to really kind of push us down the path to a CBDC system. They're accelerating all of this. And one of the biggest things that you really want to pay attention to is the debt crisis. This is in progress right now. Debt has been unsustainable for years now. But in just the last 4 years alone, debt has gone absolutely parabolic to the point where it's there. Anyone that looks at the chart can say, this is not going to end well. And that's exactly what they want. There's no turning back. They are going to crash the financial system. I would argue probably late 2025, early 2026 is the time frame on that. I could easily be wrong, but that's what I'm looking at. There is absolutely no way that is not a part of the plan. They want to collapse the old to usher in the new, and the new is all digital. People need to wake up now because a very large portion of the population is not even aware of this. So please listen. Please focus on the facts. Don't get distracted. There's a lot of noise out there. You need to make sure that you are doing the proper research. You really need to pay attention to what matters right now. And you need to make sure that you are preparing, helping your family prepare, your friends prepare, open their eyes to what's really going on as well, because there is so much misinformation out there. There's a lot of nonsense out there. You need to make sure that you're not getting distracted. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, set notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.